My presentation will focus on a proposal by the Palo Alto Unified School District to modify its high school graduation requirements, which I will argue will serve more as a diversion than a solution to the problem it seeks to address. I'm going to start by comparing two California high schools. One is Palo Alto High School, located in our neighboring Palo Alto Unified School District, and the other is East Valley High School, located in the Los Angeles Unified School District. Now, these two schools are very different. Palo Alto High School has an African American and Latino population of less than 10%, while African American and Latino students comprise 90% of the population at East Valley. The percentage of socioeconomically disadvantaged students varies by almost 75% between these two schools. The percentage of adults with four-year degrees living within the district varies by a near 70%. The difference in average household income is about $65,000. And it's not even fair to compare the median home price with Palo Alto's over $1 million per home, while only 20% of the residences are owned in East Valley. Palo Alto also offers over twice as many AP courses as East Valley, and a majority of their teachers have PhDs, compared to East Valley's 5%. About 88% of Palo Alto students go on to attend a 2 to 4 year college, while only 44.3% of students at East Valley do so. As you can see, these two schools, which are highly representative of their districts, have very different socioeconomical contexts, which for the Los Angeles Unified School District translates to lower academic achievement for their students, reflective of the national academic achievement gap. Now, before talking about what proposal the Palo Alto Unified School District is proposing, let's define some terms. The academic achievement gap refers to the disparity in achievement between African American and Latino students and their white and Asian peers in a variety of measures, including standardized test scores and college enrollment. Minority students refers to African American and Latino students. When I say majority minority districts, I'm referring to schools that have a majority population of minority students, and majority districts have a majority population of Asian and white students. Let's now look at what majority minority districts are doing to address the achievement gap. So we can then look at the proposal by the Palo Alto Unified School District and how it compares in the way they both try to address the achievement gap. Now, one of the ways majority minority districts have come to address the low number of minority students going on to higher education is by aligning their high school graduation requirements with the requirements needed to apply to a four-year school in California, requirements also known as the A through G requirements. 12 years ago, majority minority district San Jose Unified became the first one to implement the A through G requirements as their high school graduation requirements to promote a college-going culture in the district. Since then, districts from Los Angeles to Oakland have followed suit. For these districts, changing their requirements to A through G has meant a drastic change in the expectations they have for minority and low-income students who are underrepresented in the California university system. And so far, the results have been rather promising. But now, seeing the vast differences that exist between majority-minority districts and Palo Alto, how does the success of majority-minority districts translate to Palo Alto Unified School District? What achievement gap are we talking about at a school where 80% of the students already graduate meeting the A through G requirements? And in order to see this, we need to take a closer look at the numbers. Because of the 20% of students that graduate not meeting the A through G, 33% of them are minority students. And if you remember, there's a less than 10% minority population at these schools, which means that there's a disproportionate number of minority students not meeting these requirements. Which is interesting, considering that Palo Alto School District has access to vast resources, qualified teachers, and a definite college-going culture, yet they still have an existing achievement gap. This implies that there are factors outside of access to resources and high expectations that contribute to this disparity. Yet last year, Palo Alto Unified School District Superintendent Kevin Skelly proposed modifying its requirements to align them to the A through G requirements, just like majority-minority districts have done across the state, to also address their achievement gap. A proposal that has become a source of controversy because it assumes that students are not meeting their requirements because of a lack of awareness and motivation, ignoring other factors that may contribute to the students' lack of success. Now, to better understand this controversy, let's look at what it means when I refer to aligning the requirements to A through G. The three areas that would be impacted are math, science, and foreign language. 1 or 2 years would be added to each, and students would be required to complete up to Algebra 2. It is therefore not surprising that the Palo Alto Math Department was the main opponent of the proposition. They wrote a letter expressing their concern for struggling students and their ability to perform in the Algebra 2 classes. And they also talked about the possible increase in dropout rate and a watering down of their curriculum if this change were to occur. The Palo Alto School Board member, taking these concerns into account, decided to postpone their decision, although the proposition is now going to be voted again in May of this year. So my question became, is A through G really what's needed in this district? And I decided to speak with teachers, board members, and particularly students to decide whether this A through G is really a solution for the district. From the teachers and counselors I spoke with, I received a very firm no, with very few exceptions, to whether they believed the proposal would help minority students. From community members and the one board member I spoke with, who will be voting in support of the proposal, I received skepticism. Yet they all suggested that there are programs already in place that are helping minority youth. Some of these programs include Response to Intervention, which is a program at the elementary school level aimed at helping minority students at a lower age. Focus on Success, which are classes at the high school level aimed to provide basic skills for these students. Team, which gathers struggling students and allows them to take core classes together. College Pathways, a program aimed at minority youth to help them through the college application process. And extended tutorial periods for every subject aimed at providing individualized help for students. I then decided to speak with the students and see what they thought of all these programs, and had the opportunity to speak with a whole freshman class, a group of college-bound seniors, and a lot of these students on an individual basis. What I gathered from my conversations with them was that a lot of these students are rather clueless. The freshmen I spoke with did not even know what the A through G requirements were, and the seniors did not see a problem with the implementation besides the inconvenience it would cause them if it were implemented their year, because they were graduating without meeting the requirements as well. So when I asked them about the achievement gap, I received blank stares from the freshmen, and the seniors just shrugged, not knowing what to say. Even the college-bound students that I spoke with, although a little more aware of the debate surrounding A through G, had no real idea of what this might mean or represent for them or their peers. However, I found that a lot of the students were really willing to talk about the discrimination they experienced in the classroom. One student told me about her experience going through elementary and middle school being the only minority student in all of her classes, how it was difficult for her to make friends, and how she received backlash from people at home for attending a school with majority white people. Overall, the students were very aware of the self-segregation within the school, which just means that students tend to stick together with others from their same racial and socioeconomic backgrounds. Students are also very aware of the differential treatment they receive from teachers, counselors, and administrators due to the color of their skin. Yet little is being done to address this issue. Programs intended to help these youth, like Focus on Success or Team, instead create segregated spaces where students are placed in classes with majority minority students. Also, teacher development programs that have been implemented to address this issue, according to the teachers I spoke with, are both ill-attended and ineffective. It was clear from my interviews that there's a clear disconnect between programs being implemented to help these youth and the benefits that these students walk away with. Teachers argue that students come in lacking basic skills to succeed in their classroom, and therefore A through G will only hurt their performance. Counselors argue that the expectations are already high for every student, and therefore A through G will not make a difference. Yet they all insist that there's a need for a stronger support network for all students, especially the struggling students. And we're spending a lot of attention around this A through G argument, talking about whether it would be beneficial for the district. But nobody's asking the students what they need or what type of support they would find most beneficial. Now, you would think research is being done on the subject, and as scholar Clayton Hurd points out, there's a recent growing body of ethnographic literature exploring the experience of minority students in majority schools. There's also scholarship on the role of civics courses and sustained community service on students' socio-political awareness. but there is little research done on the effect of socioeconomic and political awareness on past student-led movements, such as the 2005 A through G campaign in Los Angeles Unified School District, where thousands of students chanted outside district offices demanding A through G prep classes. Now, due to this, starting this year, students in the district will be required to meet the requirements in order to graduate. And this is because when students demand change, people listen. But in order to do this, I propose not only that more research be done on past student-led movements, but also that the district make a commitment to increase the awareness of students surrounding the socioeconomic and political issues affecting them, instead of continuing to implement programs and policies that distract from the real issues affecting these students. Thank you.